like, why are we egressing all of the profiles of an ABR ladder when really we should just be distributing, the highest profile, sort of the quote unquote Mez file, if you will, and then creating derivative files literally on the fly.
Hmm.
There's tremendous, from a usability perspective, you think about now, I could literally have, although I would never do this, but in theory, you could have perfectly matched profiles on a device by device basis, absolutely matching one for one screen sizes, because all it is a config file. In normal topologies, well, you'd have to go encode that file, you'd have to store it somewhere, and then who knows, maybe just a very, very, very small subset of users have that
Hmm.
particular device with kind of an unusual, resolution or something unusual about, about the format support. But this whole holy grail concept of just in time also broke down when you had to do it CPU, software and CPU, because it
Exactly.
was just too expensive.
Yeah.
Or to get the bitrate efficiency and the quality, you could run the encoder super fast, but your bitrate was going to be really high, so you lose your efficiency, your codec compactness, but then you also generally lose quality. So talk me through, what was your journey to go from CPU to VPU? For example, did you look at GPU? Did you even deploy GPU? Or did you just jump all the way from CPU and adopt VPU?
Yeah. No, I initially our offline VOD transcoding solution. This was the first step into transcoding business for us.
Mm-hmm.
This
Mm-hmm.
was initially running on CPU. It runs fine, but yeah. It needs quite some CPU resources. Of
Yeah.
course, it's offline, so we can say, oh, you schedule the jobs, and it can be done if it's done in an hour or in 2 hours. Okay, it's not critical. Of course, if you go into just-in-time transcoding, yeah, then it's a different story. Then you need to have the power to deliver it in a matter of milliseconds or a really short time frame. Yeah, and then building this based on CPU. There we saw a bottleneck. If you have only one channel or a limited number of fault assets, all fine. But of course, if you go into the tier ones or the larger broadcasters with a lot of content, yeah, then the use case falls apart more or less, especially cost wise. And this is when we start searching for other solutions. And yeah, well, we also looked at GPU. But then, of course, with the NETINT VPU cards, the quad,
Yeah.
yeah, we did some tests, initial tests, and this showed, yeah, a huge increase in performance. So we kind of abandoned is perhaps not the right word, but the focus is mainly on the NetInt cards for sure. And this is also when we decided, okay, let's set up some benchmark tests. We did it. We have some cards on-prem, but to make the comparison a fair comparison, we actually set it up in Akamai Connected Cloud, as you already
Mm-hmm.
mentioned that these have
Mm-hmm.
the NetInt cards available, because
Mm-hmm.
then we can compare exactly the same node based on CPU,
Yeah.
based on GPU, and based on the NetInt cards. And then, yeah, we saw the difference in,
Yeah.
in 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 performance clearly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. What codecs are your customers primarily using? I assume H.264 is ubiquitous, but
Yeah.
HEVC, AV1?
Yeah, AV1 not yet. It's mainly H.264 and H.265, HEVC. These are the two.
Got it.
There are a lot of talks on AV1 or new codecs coming up, but it's still not widely deployed.
Yeah.
Um, I think this will change probably in the next year or the next 2 years. I'm quite sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's still mainly the two regular ones.
Understand.
Yeah.
And resolutions, is it all HD and below, or does it go up to 4K? What are the common
There is 4K
resolutions?
content available,
Yeah.
but also there it's still mainly HD. And then 4K is not that commonly used. One thing that often is done, we also have on our origin a concept called adaptations, where you can see it as a recipe for the player. We can make an adaptation for a mobile phone, for a smart TV, for a set-top box. And then based on the device, you can set different codecs, different bit rates. And then typically for the mobile phones, the HD is stripped. For the set-top box, it's the opposite. Only the higher profiles are sent. And this adaptation also ties into the just-in-time. Because also then we can say, okay, we only just need to transcode just in time, only these profiles and not all the profiles. So this goes a bit hand in hand.